man. Oh man.
Where a Labradoodle owner can meet their next hybrid. Where the crew
Hey, Tiger Raven first to the channel, man. We turn a light on over here. There we go. So ooh, man. What's going on, Rogue Assassin? Cold Stephen Cam is third. Bo Nix is way better than Ian Book at this point, man. Listen, I know early line on Georgia 17.5 vodka drinker. I already know, like right now, waiting for it to come back from commercial. I already know that the Notre Dame fans are not going to like my analysis, and that's okay. So we're still waiting for it to come back from commercial. Notre Dame, trash, man. This is not a number 8 ranked team, not even close. Here we go. So we're back. Trying to run the ball. I mean, look at this. Look at that. You see how that guy turned him? That is an undersized, that right there was an undersized linebacker that turned a running back easily. Loss. Probably a loss right here too. Possibly a loss. I mean, I don't see any way Notre Dame goes undefeated. It's 35-17 right now. And just went over on downs from an intentional grounding from Louisville. So Notre Dame's probably going to score again, but look at that, just standing him up, no problem at all. Look at the size. It took two of those guys. I mean, they're not even close. Look at the size difference. Look, I mean, these guys are way bigger. way different size. Well, I mean, just there's a size disparity. They can't. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's sloppy football on top of that too. Both teams. Here's Ian Book again. Somebody earlier was like, "Why is my big head in the middle of the screen? Show the game more." I was like, don't you have cable, sir? I hope you're not counting on Big Dog Brett to stream you the game, because that ain't gonna happen. So here's the rankings. Allowed 2 touchdowns, no touchdowns, no touchdowns, no touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's the way it should be when you're playing unranked opponents. This 31 points, you allow Houston to score 31 points. What are you doing? Do you remember the name Ricardo Lewis? I think so. What do you think about the Oregon? Auburn escaped that game. No, Oregon might be legit. Auburn's, man, nobody was more excited about that win than the Gus Malzahn, man. It's like, keep me on just a little bit longer. Houston does have a pretty decent offensive line, but for them to play the way that they should be playing, there never should have been a problem with them stopping them from scoring 31 points. That's a lot of points, man. Auburn defense won that game, not Nix. That is also correct. Oh, man. Hurts look good. Well, I mean, it's Big 12 defense out there, man. So, I mean, put Jake Fromm out there, he'll do the same thing. Put Trevor Lawrence out there and it'll blow your mind. Imagine what Justin Fields would do out there. mean, Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts is going to look really good in the Big 12 because he's able to run when he wants to run. He doesn't have to wait around. He can just run. I mean, they don't have any defenses out there. I mean, 5 seconds after the ball is snapped in the Big 12, half the players are scattered from sideline to sideline. They don't maintain the pocket. It's insanity. Justin Fields is bad in my eyes just because of that fake punt. Justin Fields, he's got to grow a lot. He'll be a good quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He just needs to grow. He didn't fit Georgia's game plan, so I mean, I didn't really expect them to put up a whole bunch of numbers at Georgia. Man, commercials, man. The football TV timeouts are terrible for football games. I mean, I get it makes some money and all the other stuff, and we got to have that for the schools, but how about Tennessee basically paying the payroll at Georgia State for the next 10 years? Lawrence or Fields will win the Heisman. I don't know. We'll see. Georgia State won that game, and you better believe that coach went the next day. He called up the athletic director, the president of the college, and he's like, "Y'all got to triple my pay, and I need that. I need that in ones, and I need it now. Small unmarked bills. need my money ASAP." That guy's gonna ride that win the rest of his life. It's like, you remember that time we went to Neyland Stadium and I coached that team. That was me. Oh man, what was the score of the Georgia State game? It was something like 38-21 or something. The score of the Notre Dame game right now is 35-17. Looks like Notre Dame has the ball, but it's 4th and 5. Another 3 and out for Notre Dame against Louisville. I mean, really, if you take away that one fumble where Notre Dame got that touchdown right before the end of the half, I mean, it would be 28-17. If Notre Dame plays like this, Georgia will crush them. I mean, they got a couple of weapons, but I don't see anything for Georgia to be afraid of. Georgia versus Notre Dame, the Dollar General Bowl. Is that what he said? How about one of them games is the Tony the Tiger Bowl or some shit? Excuse my language. Tony the Tiger Bowl. Imagine if it ends up with like Auburn and LSU or Auburn and Clemson or something crazy where it's another Tiger beat a Tiger and Tiger Bowl. There's too many Tigers. Now hold on for y'all snap that. All right, let's see what we get. This guy been sacked like 10 times. Nice pass right there. Look at that. They can't tackle him. There's like 6 guys trying to tackle him. Couldn't tackle him. I don't know what's going on, man. I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all. Auburn can beat Georgia. That's a possibility. Who gets first? Muschamp, Jeremy Pruitt, or Willie Taggart? Jeremy Pruitt. He overthrew the crap out of that ball. Jeremy Pruitt might get fired for next week. They have attached the hashtag Fire Pruitt to the hashtag Blame Lyle, and it has caught momentum. Yeah, he was not. I'm telling you, man, Jeremy Pruitt is a spy sent by Georgia, just like Will Muschamp. Look at that. He caught his own tip. LSU is legit. I got to see what their offense does, man. I mean, I didn't watch that game. I mean, I'll know more after they play Texas. Notre Dame schedule. No, this is Louisville schedule. So they'll win here. They'll lose here. Probably lose here. They might win that game. They'll probably lose that one. Yeah, Zamir White got to play. That was nice. I was really wondering if DeAndre Swift was going to play. He managed to get in there. Kentucky Derby. Tiger Raven is not in high school, man. Tiger Raven is grown man, I believe. Yeah, Swift has more power than he had last year. That's true. So funny when Tennessee fans thought, man, they really thought they had something when they got Jim Chaney. It's kind of like Miami when they got Mark Richt. We tried to tell them. I was like, man, you don't want that guy. If you watched any of my shows, any of them, no. You won't take, by all means, take him. Pruitt, Sunday Tennessee Study, said he was really impressed with Tennessee special teams. Yeah, because they got the most action out of anybody on the field. Man, Louisville, man, just continues to run. This was first down or second down. And listen, if these guys can drive, if Louisville can run against Notre Dame, hot garbage. They're probably proud of that win too. I would not be proud of that win. By the way, I know you guys see boxes and stuff stacked up and stuff kind of in disarray. My wife normally keeps a very, very clean house. Over under 9 wins this season, I would take the under on that, Clemson Nation. They'll make a bowl game, but they'll still lose. They'll lose whoever they play to in a bowl game. I don't care if it's Duke. Ian Book, surprise, surprise, not a wonder child. Surprise, surprise, no passing ability. Surprise, surprise, no defense. None. It seemed to me that with all of the, if I had to choose between Notre Dame, Tennessee, or South Carolina, and you are a 5-star recruit, which school would you choose and why? Well, I hate snow, so you said if I had to choose. So this is me. I don't want to live in snow country, so Notre Dame's absolutely out of the question. I'm Southern, and living up there amongst the Notre Dame fans would not fit well for me. Tennessee is a dumpster fire that somebody has thrown gasoline into and is continuing to throw firewood into. I'd have to pick South Carolina. Melissa May said the Dogs are going to beat Notre Dame by 17, but roll tide. Who looked more weak, Florida or Notre Dame? Notre Dame. Well, I don't know. I'd say Florida. I remember Jeremy Pruitt punched a whiteboard and lost to Florida last year. Yeah. What an idiot. Florida. To me, I didn't see anything that impressed me. I didn't see anything that surprised me. Auburn, I'll say 9 wins on the money. They narrowly escaped Oregon. I think that may be the case again with Texas A&M. I don't see them beating LSU, and I don't see them beating Alabama. They'll probably win their bowl game. So yeah, maybe 10 wins. Pruitt doesn't seem to know what he's doing. Honestly, he doesn't know what he's doing. If you watch his first pressers, whenever he first became a head coach, he no mesh with the players, no mesh with the fans, no mesh with the team. I mean, it doesn't look like that's improved. I want Clemson to play Georgia so bad this year. What would the score be? If Georgia doesn't develop a passing game, I don't see it being much over 40 or 50 points. I can see Clemson with its wide receivers being able to score probably around 40, 45 points. I don't think ETN will be as big as a weapon as he has been in the past, but that's probably because Georgia's offensive and defensive lines are so stout. So I would probably put the game somewhere around 45 points for either team. Yeah, he's a high school football coach at best. I wasn't impressed with Notre Dame at all. Final Four, Bamson, Clemson, Georgia, and Ohio State. That's certainly a possibility, but it's also possible OU gets in. It's possible OU gets in. I feel like Auburn's going to have a year like 2013, just stacked with miracles. At some point, your luck runs out. I mean, it's better to be lucky at the end of the season than at the beginning. And I think Gus Malzahn is. I think once if they lose 2 games during the regular season, I think they're going to fold up shop. I don't think they're going to be interested in really trying to play. Notre Dame looked like hot garbage. They did score 35 points against an unranked team. Georgia scored 30 points against an unranked team. Difference being is how much they fumble the ball. I agree with OU being a possibility. Yeah. I mean, at this point, from what I've seen, I'm not concerned with Florida. I'm not worried about Notre Dame. Not worried about Tennessee. South Carolina just lost their starting quarterback. Jake Bentley's got a broken foot, so he's out. So I'm not worried about South Carolina. I mean, I know it says it takes 6 to 8 weeks to heal. By them, they'll be past Georgia. So feels look really good. Not worried about University of Kentucky. I don't see anybody in the East that's going to challenge Georgia. Basically, we went by default pretty much. Clemson is repeating this year, 14-1 at worst. Clemson looks really good, but they've got a very weak schedule. The SEC East this year looks to be down, so we'll see what happens. That Texas LSU game is going to be fun to watch. Hopefully that's a really good game. Do you see Alabama defense better this year than last year? It's too early to tell. Certainly looks to be about the same, if not better. Then they've got a little more experience. We'll kind of see how that pans out. Clemson is vulnerable with the inside run we can exploit. By the time we get that far in the season, you can bet Dabo is probably going to find a way to shore that up as much as he can. I mean, you're talking about the first game of the season versus 3 months from now. He'll move some players around. He'll make some adjustments, and he'll find a way to stop that. You can bet if he's going to play against Georgia, he's going to find a way to try to limit the run as much as possible. Melissa Mace is picking A&M over Clemson. Wow. Well, I'm all for it. I actually want to see what Syracuse does. LSU has a great chance to make the playoffs. If they beat Texas, I don't see anyone else other than Bama beating us. I think that's pretty accurate. I wouldn't count my chickens before they're hatched, though. You guys still have to play Auburn, and I want to see how that game goes. Stack 9 in the box and hope your DB's good cover. Clemson's got good DBs. Can't believe the line on the Clemson A&M game. What is the line on that game, Vaca? From an Auburn fan, what does it feel like to be a top 5 team every year? That didn't happen to us until recently, so 19, 18 and a half, depending on where you look. 19 and a half, yeah. That's not a lot considering. I mean, it'll probably be. I mean, you could probably find 19 and a half somewhere, Tiger. I mean, you probably can. There's a Vegas line somewhere at 19 and a half. I guarantee it. But that's not a lot of points, really. They do have a brutal schedule, but if they come through a schedule 8-4, Jimbo Fisher's going to look like a hero. So, I mean, he's fine with that. I mean, his first game of the season, everybody's got kinks to work out. I kind of want to look at my own problems as far as what's going on with Georgia. Georgia's got to get a passing game going. If Georgia gets a passing game going, I mean, hell, watching the game tonight, I didn't see anything that Notre Dame could do to stop the run. Georgia will run all over them. The backs at Louisville are half the size and half as talented as what we have at Georgia at our third string level. So Georgia, we had a ton of penalties. I mean, People are overhyping A&M game. Dabo didn't open a playbook versus Tech. That's why our offense looked weird Thursday night. I don't know. It's Dabo Sweeney versus Jimbo Fisher round 10 this week. Is that who Texas A&M? Yeah, that's right. Texas A&M and Clemson play this week. I'm still stuck on week 1, man. Everything comes at you at 900 mile an hour. Kirby's father took a beating, but other than a coach. I was not excited by his response after the game. I thought it should have been a little more fired up. And I mean, I can see both sides for people who are saying that, maybe he's hiding the passing game. Heard that last year, kind of bought into it last year, and then it didn't happen. Except what I was buying into was not showing us getting after the quarterback until we needed to. Now, when we got against Alabama, we created quite a bit of pressure on Tua, but the rest of the year we look like crap. I don't want to see that happen again, especially with the passing game. I did see a much better offense. A much better defensive showing, getting after the quarterback and creating havoc. But I want Georgia to be able to pass the ball at will. I kind of miss the days of Aaron Murray and Matt Stafford where Georgia would punch you right in the mouth with a 30 or 40-yard pass at any time. I mean, you could not turn your back on that pass or they would eat you alive with it. We need that again. And you see the jump ball to Pickens. His chest was in the defender's helmet. Yep, I saw that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted George Pickens and Matt Landers and Lawrence Cager. All those guys are tall. The problem with Matt Landers is he's got boat paddles for hands. I mean he just, he can't catch nothing. Or at least he couldn't in the past. He caught a couple of passes, but it just I didn't see a passing game like I wanted. I know Jake Fromm can pass. I just want to see him do it. I love gunslinging teams like Alabama. I really wish Auburn would have that type of play style. Alabama has a gunslinging play style now, but that wasn't the case about 4 or 5 years ago. 4 or 5 years ago, it was really pretty much all run. I mean, they had some good quality quarterbacks that could throw, but you didn't see these long shots down the field that you'll see Tua take. What's louder, Georgia at home? I'm guessing or Clemson at home. I've never measured it, but I would have to say I think Georgia at home. Georgia Stadium now seats like 100,000, and there's not a whole lot of fields out there that have more than 100,000. I don't even know what the stadium capacity is at Clemson. What would you say is the weakest link on Georgia's team? Well, it's not Rodrigo. I would probably say, until proven otherwise, that it would be the inside linebacker position. We got spoiled with Roquan, and I want to see. You got to see Monte Rice or Richard LeCount step up and fill those roles. Alabama has the best home field advantage. Like the pass to Wims last year versus Vandy. Yep, Tua got over 300 yards on Saturday. Waddell, Judy, Najee, Ford looked really good for us. N'Kobe Dean will spoil us in the future. I'm hoping so, man, because we need it. We got to find somebody to fill that, because we got eat up last year, right up the gut. I mean, we could not stop the run up the middle, and that's the problem. It's obviously Coach Smart holding the passing game down, but sooner or later he's going to have to turn it loose. Passing is a rhythm thing. I think you got a quarterback who's been to a national championship, a quarterback who's won an SEC championship, a quarterback who's went back to SEC championship games. There's no reason why Jake Fromm can't be turned loose at this point. It looks like they've really given him command of the helm to check in and out of plays, and he was doing a lot of that against Vanderbilt. But he's got to be willing to call the plays to make the long shots. If he's going to be the one checking in and out of plays, and that may have been the case, maybe he didn't feel comfortable calling on long shots. Maybe that's something that they're going to discuss this week and get back to it. I don't know. Can't wait for Clemson LSU home and home series 25-26. You're going to have to wait. That's a long time, man. I swear our line looked like an NFL line compared to Vandy. Good Lord. Yeah, it was, it looked good. Lines look good. But we've got Zamir White made a couple of mistakes, and it's good that he made mistakes in an early game. I guarantee he won't fumble the ball like that again. It's a classic mistake where you're running down the field, you don't think anybody's around you, and then somebody gets a peanut punch, and that's what they call it, is a peanut punch, and they knock the ball loose, and it skips down the field. And a lot of times the same guy that gives you the peanut punch will go ahead and tackle you, and so you basically have no way to recover the ball. They look bigger. Yeah, they're definitely bigger, and Zamir's going to be real good. James Cook is a speed demon. I don't really watch too much NFL, Justin. I have my own reasons for that. I feel like they let down sometimes. They let you down more often than they should. You see them kind of just give up in games, versus where in college you see these guys will play to the wire. Even if it's a 14-point deficit, you really don't see that too often in pro. Georgia would be a force to be reckoned with if they work on their passing game. Yep. Georgia can be very dangerous, provided that we can find the right passing package. Cook is ridiculous. Didn't look like he was running full speed on that touchdown. There were several times that I kind of thought that same thing. It kind of looked like he was kind of like at a cruising speed instead of like trying to go as fast as he could because he knew he was out ahead. Heard the rumors about Georgia attempting to pay a 5-star. Man, we hear that stuff all the time, man. And to be honest with you, in college football, it wouldn't surprise me. if Clemson and LSU keep getting better like they have, we don't have to wait. We will see them in the playoffs. Clemson and who? LSU. Yeah, LSU's problem, unfortunately, is that they they still got a long way to go. They still haven't developed an offense that's going to be effective at the playoff level. NFL is boring to me a lot of times. Yes. Who was that? Who that? Yeah. What's up, Samuel Mahalo, my brother? Aloha, Brett. UGA are less worried about the Fighting Irish now. A lot less. I think everybody is after watching that game. You can't look at that game and say, "Oh, you scored 35 points." I mean, I get Georgia only scored 30, and that we held a team. You know, we kept a team out of the end zone, but just the eyeball test of watching how they got, I don't know, I think it was second down and like 2 yards, and they got stood up by Louisville. I think that happened like 2 or 3 times in that game where they got stood up. I mean, I'm watching smaller linebackers, smaller corners, smaller safeties standing up 250-pound, 220-pound, 25-pound running backs. And I don't mean like kind of like tagging them and pushing them to the sideline. I mean, bow, stand them up, stop them, lock them. It was Notre Dame is going to compete with no team in the top 10. None. Notre Dame should not be ranked in the top 10. They might be, I could see them probably somewhere around, I don't know, maybe 15 mark, but certainly not in the top 10. LSU has an offense this year. We played Georgia Southern, but we looked really good. I didn't get a chance to watch that game. I should have watched it, but Georgia Southern is not a great ball club. By the way, I think Georgia's played them a grand total of, I want to say 13 times, and we've never lost to them. I do feel bad for Catfish. Catfish is a good dude, man, and Catfish has been through a lot. He's working really hard on his channel. He's really made some leaps and bounds with his stuff. And stand up, man. You talking about me? I am standing up. He's a stand-up man. I got you. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We can actually breathe when we walk outside. It's nice. It feels good outside. Do you think the media overhyped Oklahoma? No, I think that was accurate. I mean, Oklahoma is a team. It's Ryan Ridley, and he is what he is. He's great with quarterbacks. He's got talented quarterbacks. What I would be curious to see is what will he do without a talented quarterback. Jalen Hurts. It's not as good at throwing as Kyler Murray or Baker Mayfield was, but he is a great quarterback coach. He's proven that. He's 2 back-to-back Heisman Trophy winners that are quarterbacks, and you can't say the guy's not an amazing quarterback coach. And with Jalen Hurts having the experience he had, I think he was 24-2 whenever he lost the starter position from Alabama. I mean, you really can't get much better experience than that. He's going to look like a freaking beast out there in that conference because he's so used to SEC defenses. And you watch at the end of the year, I guarantee you it proves myself right. Clemson is playing at Notre Dame this year. You guys will slaughter them. Everybody on the field's trained, but I'm not sold. Hold on a second. Stretch my back. There's a lot of people that's high on Justin Fields, and he'll do well in that conference. Auburn will get to Georgia and Alabama level in 2021 or 2022 seasons. Not if y'all have Miles Line. Y'all got to find a different coach. He cannot get that. He cannot get that program there. He cannot recruit at Georgia's level. He cannot recruit at Alabama's level. He can't recruit against Clemson. And unfortunately, if you're going to go into Alabama and recruit against the Alabama Crimson Tide, you need a coach who's a better recruit than he is. I mean, better recruiter than he is. I don't know what else to tell you. Clemson defense looks very suspect this year, especially their interior D-line. Maybe, but Dabo's a hell of a coach. I mean, keep in mind this guy's won national championships and has not had a number 1 ranked recruiting team I think ever since he's been there. I think the highest he had up until this year or last year was 8th place. And so he was winning national championships with less talent than is on a lot of other teams. So I mean, I tend to believe a guy that can do that is certainly capable of coaching up and fixing that problem. Yeah, he can't get there. Sorry, bud. Yeah, I mean, I don't, other than the Auburn rivalry, I mean, obviously I don't like Auburn, but there's times when you have to, you kind of take that hat off a little bit and be objective, and you have to say, hey, the facts are what they are. And I'm sorry if it hurts your feelings. I don't want to sit here and lie to you, but I mean, Auburn's Auburn. And Auburn's traditionally been a great football team, but Gus Malzahn is slowly wearing out his welcome. Gus Malzahn is the Mark Richt of SEC West football. He'll get you that 8, 9, 10 win, sometimes 11 win season. And every now and then he'll pull an upset against a big team, but he's never going to carry it to a national championship. Who should Auburn hire, in my opinion? Well, obviously not Jeremy Pruitt. If it was me, I mean, honestly, I would try to find somebody. What's up? 1, 2, 3, go Tigers. If it was me, I don't know, man. I had to sit down and do a whole bunch of studying on that before I try to pick out a coach that would be best for that job. But I mean, realistically, you would probably have to hire a defensive coordinator who is up and coming, who's smart and hungry, who matches and blends well with a younger crowd, understands what they like, what they're after, and is willing to recruit at that level. I mean, for Georgia to get the recruiting class it had last year, it had to spend $2.8 million. Now, Georgia is in a nice spot because we don't have to pay another coach that we fired like, a lot of schools are having to do right now. So to me, I don't know what you guys would have to do. I mean, if you fire him, you still got to pay him like $40 million. So what do you do? I mean, $40 million, I don't care who you are, that's no chump change. Georgia State, there he goes. No, that guy's going to coach at Tennessee. They've already recruited him. Why Georgia spent that much money on recruiting? What did y'all buy? Plane tickets aren't cheap. I mean, you fly all over the country, multiple trips to California. There's been several times that the University of Georgia has rented helicopters and landed those on the fields, and those aren't cheap. Taking players out to dinner, taking their families out to dinner, inviting them and their families to come to the university on official stays and putting them up in hotels. There's money goes fast. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's not as hard to do as you might think. I mean, from a guy who's in a corporate environment, I can tell you travel is extremely expensive for businesses. I mean, if let's say that you want to train a guy and you want to fly him from Atlanta to, I don't know, let's say St. Louis. You're going to fly from Atlanta to St. Louis, direct flight. I mean, you're still going to pay $500 or $600 for that ticket, right? And then he's going to go there and he's going to stay in a hotel. Hotel is going to cost you $200 a night to stay in a decent corporate place. Not the Ritz-Carlton. And that's what Georgia's going to do. They're going to put them in a really nice hotel. But, I mean, downtown Atlanta, just an average hotel that's, say a 4-star hotel is going to run you $200 a night. So they stay there for a week, right? So that's $1,000 per room plus $600 for the ticket. So that's one player for a week to talk to, and that's just the hotel, just ticket is $1,600. By the time you factor in meals, transportation, and all this other stuff, it's easily another $1,000. So, I mean, you figure one player $2,600 a pop. That ain't hard to do. It ain't hard to do. Gus has got to go. If Auburn's going to turn their program around, his style of football has kind of been figured out. When he first started, he was creative enough that he could get by with it, but now the teams that have seen it the most that are competitive, like Georgia and Alabama, he has losing records to both. And that's not a slight against the team. That's just the way it is. And I think if that program is going to be competitive with Auburn, it really has to push past Gus Malzahn. And they may keep him from another 2 or 3 years and then fire him, just because it cuts down so much on what they have to pay him. And then that way they can afford to get a better coach. But I think they'd have to find a good defensive coordinator from somewhere. I just don't know who that is. See you around, Tiger, if you're jumping off. Gus has one design drive, usually off the top that works, and then they tank. They've had some good game plans in the past. Man, what could have been Derek Brown's? We could have been with Derek Brown. Dang, I wish we landed him. And we'll see what happens. Still a long way to go. I don't like Kevin Steele. I don't know enough about him to really make a educated conversation, but it is what it is. Well, guys, it's after midnight. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I don't want to be in here too late. I got to work tomorrow. So it's crazy that Clemson is going to sign 4 to 5 of the top players in this year's recruiting class. And they have the number 1 QB in the nation committed, and they have 6 5-stars already committed in the future. Yep, Georgia's doing the same thing, though, man. Notre shame disguise me. Hey, Dennis, what's going on, man? You jumped on right here at the end, buddy. I'm jumping off, man. But you guys leave some comments down in the comment section on what y'all thought of the game, and we'll discuss it some more later. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Mahalo. God bless. Go Dogs.